And we're live. Hey, Ariel.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm very good, actually. It's a beautiful day today. We're getting 28 degrees here today. And it's just spring.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm
So we
doing
couldn't do a
great.
live stream, but anyway. So, as always, guys, let us know if you can hear us before we start with the most important topics in the world. Gaming,
Of course.
Now, I like to. I put two topics on the agenda. But we can of course have more ray tracing always on in Spider-Man, and the HDR fix for Starfield, whatever comes. They put them anyway. Whatever. We talk about this loud and clear in mind. Perfect, buddy. Thank you very much. Should we start with Spider-Man? Ray tracing always on.
Yeah. Actually, I have no idea what's going to be your take on that. Um,
I
me
don't need ray
personally,
tracing in games.
me personally, I think that Insomniac they are the best. I mean, their games are the best. In my experience, Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, and Miles Morales, and now Ratchet and Clank, it has its issues at launch. But in my opinion, those games are the most spectacular games that I've played on my PC and my TV, because also the performance, they look amazing and they run like a dream. It's just flawless performance, especially Spider-Man. It's just you're going through the city and you have dynamic resolution scaling with DLSS. So you have upscaling, so FSR, DLSS, and you have dynamic resolution scaling at the same time. Ratchet and Clank had issues with that at launch, and the great thing about that is that you can get just a rock solid FPS. So you're just flying through the city and it just looks amazing, performs amazing. So yeah, I am my opinion is that Insomniac, they're just the best, but ray tracing off all the time. There's no way I would turn that on unless, you know, maybe with a 49. I'm not sure with your 4080 how is that running. Can you get 120 FPS with frame generation? Maybe, but ray tracing is also demanding for the CPU. So to get 120 FPS, no drops, even with the most powerful, PC in the world, without
Yeah,
frame generation, I'm not sure about that.
I know. So when I heard the news about ray tracing always on, I was a little bit, oh my god, that's why? Because the first thing what came to mind was Jedi on the PlayStation, Xbox. Ray tracing always on. But I mean, then I remembered, we're not talking about, we're talking about Insomniac.
Insomnia.
So
Yeah.
if someone can pull it off, to have a really great looking game with stable frame rate, then Insomniac, absolutely. And I think maybe the reason is why they have ray tracing always on. Maybe they built the game from the ground up with ray tracing in mind, which then maybe makes it better in terms of performance and stuff like that. So yeah.
But I'm not sure about that, because from what I've seen, the game is gonna have ray trace reflections and yeah, maybe shadows or ambient occlusion. It's not gonna be like path tracing or something like that.
No.
Because it's just too much for a PS5. It's just not gonna happen. So I can understand the game that has only ray tracing, something like the Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition. Of course, there's the original Metro Exodus, but let's say that we get a game like that just to open the game you need a ray tracing capable GPU, then yeah, it would be understandable that you don't have the option to turn ray tracing off, because all the lighting and the shadows and everything, there's nothing baked. Everything is real, so there's no option to turn it off. But in my opinion, it's always gonna be better to have an option without it, because you either get a higher frame rate or a higher resolution, and I much rather have that.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I have a higher frame rate over more, graphical picture quality, whatever you want to call it, because as soon you play, you move around, everything is fast and it should be sharp and not blurry, and you don't have time to look at the details anyway. So that's my take on that. You know what I mean? It's all this ray tracing, all this fancy textures and whatsoever is good for photo mode. You know, when you turn this on, then you should have 4K and everything turned on, of course. But for playing games, I don't know. It's higher frame rate, much better. That's how it
And
is.
how is that looking with your 4080? What's your experience now with a 4080 and RTX on? Does the game? Do you see the games looking amazing because of ray tracing? Like, which
I mean,
game
look,
has your experience with that?
Look, so I did the comparison between on Cheddar with the latest patch where they turned off ray tracing in the performance mode. And yes, of course, you can see a difference in terms of shadows or in terms of the lighting in general, you know. And of course, it looks much better with ray tracing on because it's more realistic. But then again, we have 30 versus 60 FPS, and there's just one decision. 60 FPS all over. And again, when you play, you don't have time to compare, or is the shadow or the lighting now correct? What you can see here in the corner or whatever,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but for example, did you test it on the PC or just on the PS5? Not sure if you have the PC version.
I tested on the PC version as well, and of course,
okay.
but PC version has still some issues, I think, with frame rate at some point. I have some stuttering, maybe shader stuttering or whatever. And of course, I played with ray tracing on, but it's playable absolutely with the 4080. The same like Cyberpunk. You just need to adjust a couple of other settings.
But do you see the problem with Jedi? And I haven't played the game yet because it was a mess, and I've been just waiting for it to be fixed, if that's even possible. Because I like the first game actually. I didn't beat the Jedi Fallen Order, but I play a lot. I just got lost with other games I started to play.
Yeah.
So I still have the save file. I will beat that game eventually. So I've been waiting for it. But the problem with this new Star Wars is the screen space reflections. My question is, do you have that issue resolved when you use ray tracing?
Yes.
Do you see when you are Digital Foundry showed this? That's where I saw that when you are on a river or something like that, you see the occlusion problem. Like you have your character is occluding the screen space reflection, and it looks very ugly. Like it just looks broken. Does ray tracing fix that? Would be
yes, yeah.
It does?
It's much better. Yes, much better. But we need to be honest here, fair, because there's not much water stuff going on in the game, as far as I know. So it shouldn't be a big problem, And maybe this was the reason why they had ray tracing always on, because maybe they built it from the ground up as well,
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, but I don't like it. I mean, I do like if it comes out, if this Spider-Man 2 comes out and 60 FPS with ray tracing, what that means is that a PC port, where you can turn that off, you get a very good performance. So that's what it means to me. I would turn it off.
When you can play Spider-Man 2 on the PC, you have a 5090 already. No,
probably. But you know what I heard? I'm not sure how the rumors are. I heard that there is an upcoming The Last of Us that's gonna be online or something like that, and it's going to come day one on the PC. Those are rumors, but I'm not sure if that's gonna happen. But I can definitely see Sony, getting that PC release closer, because it seems like it has been a big success. All the games that they ported to the PC, they're making money basically.
Yeah, of course. That's what a company has to do, making money. And I appreciated it. I mean, to be honest, a powerful PC will always play the games better than a PlayStation or Xbox. That's how it is.
Yeah.
You
have both right now.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, I'm gonna play Spider-Man 2 right now on my PS5, or are you gonna wait?
Yeah, but wait. Let's talk about Ratchet and Clank, because Ratchet and Clank looks very good on the PlayStation 5, and even the texture quality is on the PlayStation 5 better than on the PC, because I still can't play with high or ultra textures. There's still the issue with the micro stuttering, and it's not just on my 4080; it's also on the 4090. As soon you go over high textures, you have micro stuttering.
So what I've seen.
medium quality textures is lower than the texture quality on the PlayStation 5.
Really, what I've
Yeah.
seen on Ratchet and Clank is that when you load a new world, the RAM and the VRAM, they get like overloaded,
Yeah.
and then you get some issues. So what I do, I mean, and we shouldn't have to do this, but what I do is just close the game and open it again, and it works. Like
No,
that, but
it doesn't help. But you're right. As soon
that's
you
bad.
go with high textures, I think I'm almost close to 16 gigabyte of VRAM, which is I can't understand this. But they haven't addressed this so far. And you can look this up. There are some tests or whatever from big websites. They actually tested the frame times then with and as soon you change has nothing to do with ray tracing. As soon you go to medium, I have always over 100 FPS with full details in 4K. As soon you go over high texture settings or medium texture settings, it starts stuttering. It's so not the best port, but I mean, yeah. And I did a comparison video, Ratchet and Clank PlayStation 5 and PC, and I have to be honest with you. If you sit not very close to the TV as I do, normal viewing distance, it's very hard probably for you to see the difference between PlayStation 5 and full max settings on the PC. I guarantee you. PlayStation 5 in this game is really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a shame, but I hope that they fix it at some point. What I'm talking about is just the game. The game it looks amazing. I mean, the thing that I like the most about Ratchet and Clank is the clarity of the game. So how sharp it looks, no aliasing, very sharp. I mean, that's like the best, DLSS or even the native TAA is okay. And that's very rare. I mean, I think that's the best I've seen in terms of the sharpness and the clarity of the game is very, very good. So I hope they fix those issues. For now, I just restart the game and it works very well.
Yeah. So with my new, because I just finished actually putting together my new PC, 75950X3D, which is a great processor, and the 4080. I tried Starfield yesterday. I need to play this game. I just need to find the time. You know what I mean? With 4K, the game. I don't know who's saying the game looks ugly. You have let's start over. There are some locations or character where you think, where does this come from? Because then you have other locations. When you're in space or whatsoever, or the spaceships are looking fantastic. I need to put some time in to play this actually.
Which game are you talking about? Starfield?
Starfield, yeah.
Oh,
I need to put some into this. It looks like a really interesting game.
To be honest, I uninstall it. If it wasn't because of the channel, I wouldn't have even installed the game, to be honest, because I just sometimes this happens. Sometimes I feel like if I really want to play a game, I don't want to see any opinion from anyone, because when everyone is bashing the game, oh, it's terrible, it's trash, and it's like it's difficult for you to have your own opinion. When you just open the game, already your expectations are like, oh man, this sucks.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened to me with Starfield. I didn't even give it a chance, to be honest. I just uninstalled the game.
Yeah, no, it's let's say like this. There are a couple of things. What I was hoping is better in terms of that you can really travel to planets, really in real time. I mean, apparently you can. It just takes you 7 hours, but then there's just a 2D sprite or whatever. It's not really. Even there was a video on I can remember now. Star Fox on the Nintendo 64, I think. Star Fox. Have you ever played this? Star Fox, apparently, I can't remember because I haven't played this game very, very often, but apparently you can even do the same as in No Man's Sky. You can take off from a planet and travel in real time to another planet on a Nintendo 64 20 years ago. So that's why I was expecting a little bit more, in terms of, they need to make games, of course, approachable for all people, because not everybody wants this hardcore simulation stuff. You know what I mean? But there should be maybe an option between fast travel just do it fast, or yeah, in the real time or whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing I like about Starfield is that you can change to third person. Basically, I am not a big fan of first person shooters. For example, I'm looking forward to Star Wars. I mean, not Star Wars. I'm sorry, Avatar from Ubisoft.
Okay.
But the only thing I don't like is that it's just first person. I wish they had that third person option, just over the shoulder.
Really?
Yeah, I like more like Gears of War, like kind of Fortnite over the shoulder camera. I like that more.
Yeah, me too. Hey, Christoph, thank you very much. Us from Canada. Hey, how are you? Are you guys excited for Motorsport next month? The graphic in HDR looks promising. Of course. I pre-ordered the Game Pass version to play actually 4 days earlier. Yeah, or 5 days, I can't remember. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy driving a lot actually, but I have to say, man, because I didn't have a car, when I was in Cuba, I didn't have a car. So now here in the US, I do have a car, a nice car. And I enjoy driving a lot. Since I drive, racing games have become like, oh man, it's just not the same experience, So I've been thinking in getting a wheel, maybe like a controller. Do you have any of those wheels and
I have a wheel, but yeah, I borrowed it from a friend, yeah.
And how do you like it?
I mean, look, it's much better than with controller. Full stop. It's much better, but yeah, you need to try it.
Yeah, I definitely have to get one of those, maybe, to see if I get back again into racing games, because yeah, it has to be GTA. If you don't go out of the car, for me, it's like, oh, GTA also kind of spoiled the racing games, in my opinion, because you have a game where you can race, you can go out of the car, helicopter, shooting guns.
Yeah.
It's tough to go back. But yeah, I mean, in HDR and just graphics, racing games, they are always been a showcase. I mean, every new console generation, you're gonna see a racing game. I mean, the next Xbox, you're gonna see a racing game. PS5, it's just a perfect showcase, because it seems like it is easier to get closer to photorealism with racing games.
Yeah.
Because it's just a texture for the car, maybe like cube maps for the reflections, it works very well, or something like that. And yeah, it just is easier to make it look good.
Forza has also ray tracing always on, and even on the performance 60 FPS mode, yes, very sure. But just reflections and stuff like this, very minor. But of course, it will probably help a lot in terms of But again, I don't know. So when we talk about Gran Turismo, then I actually enjoy the open or the VRR mode in Gran Turismo, because you get the same resolution as in the 60 FPS mode, just with higher frame rate. But just open up the frame rate, unlock frames, which is great because it's up to 100 FPS or whatsoever, depending on the track, of course. Yeah. But so far, what I have seen from Motorsports, and there's just Twitter stuff and something like that. I even haven't watched the Digital Foundry video so far. So far, what I have seen, the graphic doesn't look that much better than Gran Turismo. Even maybe it's on the same level. What is great is the damage system. It's just amazing. I like this. This is what I'm missing in Gran Turismo, because it's just you drive with 500 in a wall, nothing is happening. Doesn't make sense. But that's from the very beginning. Since Gran Turismo 1, it was like that. Because I think, and please maybe correct me, I think they had some contracts with the owner from the cars or manufacturers that they don't want to have any damage on the cars or whatsoever.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
I don't know if this is true, or maybe it's just because they have 500, 600 cars in, That's probably
No, it makes sense. Yeah, it shouldn't be that difficult to just have a destruction system or something like that. Yeah, I heard that also. But I still think that Spider-Man, I mean, knowing in Insomniac, they should have like, an RT mode and a regular without RT mode or something like that. Where did you see that it was going to be only ray tracing?
Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Like what?
There was an interview with IGN, and
Uh-huh.
the developer confirmed it's ray tracing always on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like a 30 FPS with a higher resolution and a 60 FPS
30,
with ray
40,
tracing.
and 60. And I'm not sure if they mentioned this the open framerate mode, which we have also in the other Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember, but you have a 30 FPS, which is of course my favorite. I don't understand this. Why they even putting a 30 FPS mode in a game like that? I truly don't understand it, really. How can you play a 30 FPS a game like that? Doesn't work.
I mean, I would like to see these developers, like a developer like Insomniac, say, you know what? Now our game looks better. It runs even better. Here's a 120 FPS mode instead of trying to push the graphical fidelity, or maybe have both. Okay, here's a 60 FPS ray tracing mode, but here's an unlock FPS mode that runs even better. Because if they are doing 60 FPS ray tracing, you know for sure that if you turn off ray tracing, you can get like 90 to 100 FPS, because that's what we see on the PC, unless the ray tracing is very, very light or something like that. Because in my opinion, it's just a better experience. A higher frame rate is just better. I have a 3080, 12 gigabytes. I've never, ever on any game decided to use ray tracing. Sometimes I have turned it on for a moment, and sometimes it even looks bad to me. It looks worse. Like I turned it on in Ratchet and Clank. It didn't look good. It didn't look good because, this new NVIDIA DLSS 3.5 that is replacing the denoiser from the game or something like that. And they show the side-by-side comparison. This is how it was looking. This is how it's going to be looking now. That's what I was seeing. That's the defects that I was seeing. It just looks like noisy, like it has like a lower rendering resolution or something like that on the shadows and the reflections and all of that. And for me, that's just a combination of having to lower the resolution, just use a more aggressive upscaling, plus that denoiser issue. It just looks worse, in my opinion. I've seen it, and I've never turned on ray tracing and say, man, this looks amazing. I wish I could just get more FPS to play with like this.
Yeah.
I've never liked it on any game.
And I fully agree with you. Again, thank you very much, Christoph. Thank you very much for this. Now, I fully agree with you. I rather have, full stop, I have rather a stable 60 FPS than anything else. It's just, that's how it is. If you like to play serious a game, I can't see why you should play with a lower frame rate. Because I don't know. That's my opinion. And of course, at some point when we're talking about maybe next in 2 years or whatever, when you have a 5090 available, but then of course the demands from the game are getting higher as well. So at the end you always have this 60 FPS thing. You know what I mean? Because with Unreal Engine 5, you have no idea what they're doing. Just switching on this switch, you get a little bit better lighting, but hey, 20 FPS less. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. It's just it's a creative decision. What everyone needs to understand is that if the console is capable, or the PC or the GPU is capable of outputting 120 hertz 4K, you should be able to get 120 FPS. I mean, you've seen 60 FPS on a PlayStation 2. It just depends on the game and the developer's decision. And again, Insomniac, I'm sure they have the talent. I am 100% sure that they have the talent to give you a Spider-Man 120 FPS on the PS5, no drops whatsoever. And if I was in charge, I would decide to do that. Okay, then you want to have a ray tracing mode. That's all, well and good. Give me 120 FPS with the highest resolution possible. Okay, with the least amount of popping, with the best quality possible. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be my choice. But it's not gonna happen. They would just keep
Unfortunately, ray tracing is getting pushed by many channels, and unlikely to HDR, which just 2 channels actually on YouTube doing.
Hey, but Digital Foundry gave you the shout out. I saw the video.
Oh yes, yeah. I was like, oh my god, my comment section blew over. I said, what's going on? Say, hey, you're in the last video. Say, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's awesome,
good.
man. I mean, he did a great video because he gave a shout out to other YouTube channels, and that's good. That's good. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that means I have to continue doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it means. Absolutely.
You are also getting your codes for the games. You got PS5, Xbox, and PC
for the Kuro Motorsport. The Crew. I was very surprised because I just you can apply for the press portals from the big companies.
Oh, really?
You can just apply. Yeah, everybody can apply, and they're checking if you're illegal. What is the right word? If they confirm their application, So far I applied, I think 3 times for Capcom. They always denied. You need to have probably more subscribers or more views to get into this. But Ubisoft Australia, I got into this, and then you get your press contacts, and then you just write an email. I was just writing an email, hey, how are you doing, blah blah blah, and how about review codes for upcoming games? And she was so nice. Yeah, why are we not starting with the Kuro Motorsport, she said. And here, 3 keys: PlayStation, Xbox, PC. Wow. I was like, fucking hell, really?
Okay, that's good. Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know that. I've never considered doing something like that. The only thing I've tried to reach out to some monitor companies because I'm interested in reviewing the monitors that have backlight strobing, ULMB and all of that. Because I think I have a lot to say about that. Because I've been focused on motion clarity. So I would like to get some of those monitors for review to analyze specifically those features. But I'm not gonna buy them because we're talking about an LCD screen at the end of the day. So I'm not going back to LCD. No way. It's just the contrast, the colors. Yeah. But
you will see when we stick to this, you will see that when you get more subscribers and more views, you see that emails popping up from companies in your email box. In the beginning, just grab, really absolutely grab, and then at some point, it's getting a little bit more interesting, like this light here, in the background, what you can see around the TV and something like that. That's what comes up, because no big YouTube channel is taking. Is doing advertising for this stuff anymore, because they're getting the bigger stuff to do. But this will happen, of course, with you as well. That's just normal.
And let me ask you: would you like to get any kind of review samples for TVs or monitor? Would you like to review any specific product?
Yeah, monitors. Probably the thing is look, at the end, it doesn't matter if it's a monitor or TV, because it's the same time. But in terms of handling it, a monitor is of course much easier, because a TV, if you have even just a 55-inch or whatever, where you put it, where can you connect it? Monitor, just put it here and that's it. You can easily review it. Yeah. So of course, would be great. Would be more interesting than backlights. Anyway, let me just say thank you to Morbid Desk. Sorry, Morbid. That's not good. Morbid Desk. I have no idea how to pronounce this. Thank you very much for the $5. What do you think the odds are that when Starfield has native HDR support added, it will still need a reshade or special K for correct HDR? So far, as I know, they just said that the next update, one of the next updates, will have a contrast brightness slider, HDR settings, but they never mentioned what platform. They never mentioned, as far as I can tell. So I don't know if they're just talking about the Xbox version, because we have HDR in there, and maybe they're not even talking about the PC version. And to be honest, I don't, even putting native HDR in, if they're leaving this crazy HDR black level rays and stuff like that, you need Special K or Reshade.
Oh, and especially the color filter. That's what they. So what they have to do is to add a toggle to
On
turn
off,
that
yes.
off.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That's the
You can
problem.
have, I would say, for future, okay, developer, because everybody's listening, okay, Electronic Arts, listen. Hey, they're all listening to this stream here. No, look, we need a toggle which the headline is creator's intent on off. That's what we like to
Turn off the creator's intent.
creator's intent. Or when you install the game, would you like to install the creator's intent? No.
Or you. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
have you seen what I'm talking about is, and this has been done before. Dying Light 2 has like 4 color grading options.
Yes.
Dying Light 2 has 4. Like, I forgot the name of them. But if you are going to decide to just do a weird, color grading decision or something like that, it just makes sense. Allowed to turn that off because not everyone's gonna like it. And yeah, I don't think anyone can like that. To be honest, it looks so bad.
I mean, I don't get it.
And I do want to say this because there are other content creators that might watch the stream. I recommend to never use a Starfield to showcase any TV or any monitor because that game cannot look good on any display. Correct. So yeah, don't use it. It's just a bad example to use on a display. It just looks very, very bad.
Absolutely correct. Now there are so many games out there, showcases for HDR for displays, but not Starfield now, for sure not. Are you going to look into lies of PHDR on PC consoles? Yes, it's coming to Game Pass. You have to wait till Game Pass is released. I'm not going to buy this game, but I looked already into HDR on the demo version on the Xbox, I think, yeah. And it has also HDR black level raise, at least in the demo version. But correct me if I'm wrong, there was a statement, I think, where they're looking into this and trying to fix this. I think so. Was it with this game? Probably. But yeah, I'm looking into this.
Yeah, so I believe if you pre-order the game, you can play it today, the 16th. So I was thinking after finishing the live stream, because I am definitely gonna play that game. Actually, I believe that game might be the best Souls-like game ever. Because I love the demo. I played that demo. It was amazing. That game it runs very well. The gameplay is very, very fun. It's parry based, which is my favorite kind of gameplay mechanic. It's just very, very good game. I really, really like that game. Definitely gonna play it. So the HDR, I did a Reshade preset to fix the HDR, but I know better now. So I'm just going to update it. As soon as I install the game, I'm going to update it. And probably the only thing you have to do on that game is just use this Lilium's black floor fix shader. And there's an option that says enable SDR black floor emulation. Just click that, done. It's going to be fixed. The other thing, that game doesn't have a slider to adjust the brightness for the HDR. I hope that they add a slider. And it's like 1,000 nits. The game is trying to do like 1,000. Like the max CLL is 1,000. So if you need less, if you have like an LG, C1, C2, CX, you can just use the Lilium's tone mapping shader and just do tone mapping. So you lower that brightness, and that's it. That's all you have to do in that game. The HDR is gonna look very good just by doing that.
Okay, now then let's look into this game. I think the official release is the 19th, correct?
Yeah, the official release is the 19th. So I was waiting for that, but I saw that the 16th, like today, you can play it. It's a very good game. Like if you've ever played Elden Ring, you like it. Or I mean, it's not like Elden Ring. It's more like Sekiro. So I mean, any Souls fan is gonna like this game. I mean, it's a very, 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 very good game. From what I've tested, it feels good to play. There are only like minor things that I would like to change, but the thing is, this is what I like about this game, and why I feel confident in pre-ordering or whatever. these developers release a demo, okay, that you can play for free and see if you like the game. I think every developer should do that. Just a free demo. Let me try it. Okay.
Yeah.
Why not? And I know for sure that I like it. I'm sold on it already. I like it. It's a great game. And on top of that, because they released this demo, the developer, listen to the feedback. So people say, "Hey, I do not like that you cannot, dodge when you're using the lock on button. You cannot dodge. You cannot use the lock on if you want to roll. You cannot be locked on. That's just a crap mechanic. Change that. The developers cannot change that. So they're listening to the feedback and the things, and they're changing things and adjusting it so it is better. So it serves two purposes. One, show people if they like the game or not, and two, listen to the feedback and make it better. So just a no-brainer.
Yeah. Okay, so to answer the question, no, that's not my S95C. That's the LG G2 behind me. The S95C is my living room. The reason why the G2 is here, because there's no stand. There's just a wall mount. That's why I wall mounted the G2 here in my office. And the S95C is in my living room where we watch movies.
I see you have the Xbox also on the background.
Yeah, an Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. I don't know when I turned on the Switch the last time. Shit. I don't know.
Well, they are gonna release the Switch 2. Did you hear the news about the Switch 2?
I heard some stuff. Yeah.
They say that Tears of the Kingdom was running at 60 FPS with upscaling. So it's because it's NVIDIA, so it has NVIDIA chip. It has an ARM, CPU with NVIDIA GPU, so it's gonna have DLSS. No frame generation, of course not. And the reason is to go from 30 to 60 frame generation doesn't work very well because of the input latency and the quality. I'm not sure if you've tried that. Have you tried to get just 60, like lock the frame to 60 for frame generation to go from 30 to 60?
No, I haven't. No.
They say it doesn't look very good, and I understand why. It's just not enough frames to give you a good input lag. And so 80, they say like 80 FPS is like about the sweet spot, like the minimum basically would be like 80 FPS. So from 40 to 80 might work. So a Switch 2 is not gonna have frame generation, but it is gonna run the Tears of the Kingdom. They're saying it's running at 4K upscale, so it might be upscale from 1080p. So 60 1080p upscale to 4K with DLSS. That's not a bad picture quality at all. But now the problem is that Switch 2 has an LCD screen. It's like, how? Why would you go back to LCD when you release this Switch that has an OLED screen?
Oh, here, that's the OLED one here behind me. That's why I bought it actually, because of OLED. And it's much, much better,
Yeah.
But now let's see. I'm not sure if I even would buy it, because I don't know. Maybe if it supports HDR, which I highly doubt.
That screen, maybe not.
Yeah.
What happens when you connect the Switch to a TV for the games that are supporting HDR? Do you get HDR on the TV?
No, there's no HDR support at all. No.
But the Switch OLED supported HDR, no?
No.
I think I saw a video of you or
this was to the 1st of April. I made this video.
What happened with that?
I made a video on the 1st of April about that the Switch is going to get a firmware update for HDR support, and people bought it.
Was that a joke?
It was a joke, of course. Yeah.
I thought it was true.
Yeah, because
it was a short, no? It was a short.
It was a short, and then I made the short was to advertise the video. The video was just, I don't know. I took it down already because the April Fool's is gone. But
well, you got me. I thought it was true, and it makes sense because he has an OLED screen. I thought it was true.
No. Come on, just watch. Come on, I think that Nintendo reached out to me, so I'm the only one. Come on. I think
I
it was
bought
very
that too.
obvious.
So they didn't reach out to you?
No, it was really just a joke. Really.
Wow.
Apparently a
Well, you
very good
got
one. A very good one. Yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, but maybe switch to HDR. I don't know. I don't know. No, I'm not expecting it, to be honest, from the Switch. To be honest, now there's no. It's a handheld. You know what I mean? It's not. Nah.
Yeah, but what
But
they definitely have to, they have to put an OLED screen on that, man. With an LCD screen, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. Why they're going back? Maybe no. At the end, it's Nintendo. They maybe like to sell a OLED version later on again. You know.
And also in terms of battery things to save power, if you have an OLED screen with perfect blacks,
Yeah, it should be better.
it should be better in terms of that.
Yeah,
You know.
not just this. I mean, they all. There's yeah. Anyway. So in terms of HDR and Starfield, what do you think? Do we get native HDR support on the PC version?
Yeah, I think we might get the HDR support because I mean everyone, even Digital Foundry commented that hey, no HDR support on a AAA game like 2023, like, and this is not a AAA game. This is the game. This is what is
Yeah.
just mind blowing that Starfield has all these issues. This is the Xbox game. Like
Yeah.
I saw an interview, by the way, it was hilarious. I had a community post, like some journalist asking, Phil Spencer and Todd Howard asking just very hard questions. And one of the questions was why you didn't optimize the Starfield for the PC.
Yeah,
And Phil Spencer laughed like, man, like he laughed at it. That's just mind blowing. Like, and Todd Howard said, "What do you mean by that? We did optimize it. It's running very well. You might just need to upgrade your PC."
Yeah.
No,
Running very
I
well
don't have to
on my
upgrade my
Venue
PC.
4090.
No, that's wrong, man.
Nah, it's crazy. Yeah, because they have no idea that the majority of the people, they don't have a 40 series card. They have a older PC, maybe 3-4 years old. You know what I mean? That's
So
the
if
majority.
no, and I shouldn't have to upgrade my PC because your game runs like crap. That's just
Correct,
wrong.
yeah.
Okay, my PC doesn't have any issues. Okay, so I'm not hopeful about that. They might add the HDR support, but what they have to remove is that horrible color grading.
Yeah,
It's just gonna look very bad.
This will not help.
By the way, now that we are here, let me just mention that I made a video with a mod to add HDR10 to Starfield, and that video got a lot of views. It seems like my thumbnail, I was really impressed with it. But I know better now. The settings that I recommended to get that HDR10 looking good, I know better now. So instead of all the tweakings that I recommended for that mod, all you have to use is the Lilium's inverse tone mapping. That's it. So I recommended a lot of tweakings because I didn't know better. Okay. So, but then the video gets a lot of views, and then I tried to add a comment saying, hey, update, use this instead. But, people are not coming back to the video to fix it. That's all you have to do with this mod, and also with the mod that I discovered, which I would like to touch on this live stream. There's we're using Reshade, basically. If you haven't watched any of the videos, we're installing Reshade and Lilium shaders. You just have to download these Lilium shaders. You copy the textures and the shaders folder, and you get this working. So I would like to talk about this. You haven't tested it yet. I ask you. You haven't had time to test this. Well, somebody from the community that I didn't discover this told me after that Starfield HDR video, told me, hey, did you know that there is actually a mod that does the same thing that you did for this Starfield with this mod, but it works for many, many games? So, oh, I didn't know. Okay, I'll check it out. And the mod is called Major Pain the Cactus.
Oh,
okay?
yeah, I saw this video from you. Yeah. This was with a lot of remote controls. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of remote controls on the table. So what this mod does is that it forces HDR10 from the engine, and it works I would say almost every single Unreal Engine game, which is most of the games that we have, and it also works for other engines like the Snowdrop engine. It works for the Division 1, Steep, and a lot more games. And all you have to do is download this mod. It's called Major Paint the Cactus. Download Reshade. Download the Lilium shaders, and that's it. And then you use the Lilium's inverse tone mapping. So this mod is gonna force the game into HDR10, but you have to fix it because it's like 10,000 nits overly saturated colors because it's just the standard, just wild. Then you have to use this Lilium's inverse tone mapping to make everything look correct and to lower the brightness to your display. It looks amazing. You have to test this. I promise you. Once you see how good this looks, you're going to be impressed. I'm talking about in terms of the contrast, no black level rays. Okay. As bright as you've ever seen HDR. So you never feel like HGIG, oh, it's too dark, I might have to use dynamic tone map. It's never too dark. It just looks eye-searing. So I was playing like the Division 1 on the snow. It is as bright as my TV gets. Okay. Basically, the only issues that we have with this is some games where this doesn't work due to the anti-cheat or other protections that the games have. Sometimes
because you can't load Reshade then.
No, even if Reshade works, this mod might not work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's because some games just don't like you to have an add-on on Reshade because of cheating.
Yeah.
And actually, when you install Reshade, you have to install the Reshade that has full add-on support. And when you click to install it, it tells you, hey, this is only intended for single-player games.
I know, yeah.
Or you might get banned. So some games don't like it, and it doesn't work. So that's one defect.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Were you able actually to get Reshade working on Cyberpunk?
Yes, what you have to do is add. If you don't have the Steam version, I think you have to add Cyberpunk as a non-Steam game.
Oh, okay.
And open it over there. I think that was the solution because I have the GOG version.
Yes, I have GOG. Yeah.
Something like I have the Steam version, so you might have the GOG version. So I think that's all you have to do, if I remember correctly. Like somebody told me that.
I add it as a non-Steam game and then I tried. Okay, I have to try this then.
Yeah.
Because it's always it stops loading. You know, as soon
it doesn't work. It doesn't open.
No, it doesn't work. No.
Yeah, I think that's gonna work with that. Somebody told me that. So that's one defect. It doesn't work always. The other defect this has is some color banding. Okay. But when I look at the game on SDR, I see the color banding too. So it is like, it's just there, unfortunately. So you might see some color banding, but we see also color banding with native HDR sometimes. Absolutely. And of course, the color banding also depends on the display. Like, your QD OLED has a better native gradation, so you can see less color banding. And if you have a Sony TV, the Sony has the option of smooth gradation with on game inside game mode, so that might help with that. But that's it. That's just the only difference. Like, we're talking about perfect contrast, no black level rays, as bright as your display can get. Oh, maybe the other problem would be the HUD elements are as bright as possible, especially when they are white HUD elements. They're gonna be like popping like ferociously. So that might be a problem, for burning concerns. I don't care. But that might be, I recognize that might be an issue. Aside from that, I promise you test this mod, it's jaw-dropping.
I test this out today. And if it's not good, I'll make a video about you to call you out.
Yeah. But I promise you, man, you're going to like it because it just looks so good. And I'm not talking about... Yeah, and I'm not talking about like, the Starfield with the settings that I share. It looks kind of wild. Okay, I'm talking about this doesn't look wild. It looks colorful, but it doesn't look super incorrect, like BT 2020 everywhere, and it looks so good, man. You have to try it.
I will for sure, because I just installed actually all the games on my new PC. It took ages. I don't have the fast internet connection as you have. I'm very jealous actually about the numbers what you showed
Yeah,
the other day.
I
Bloody
am
hell.
very happy with it, man. I am uploading videos now that the videos are like almost 20 gigabytes in, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes or less.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome because previously I had to wait like 4 or 5 hours for the video to be uploaded. So yeah, I am very happy with it, especially with the upload speed is what
Yeah.
is difficult to get, because here in the US, most of the companies, they give you a good download speed, but the upload
Yeah.
speed is like 10.
Yeah.
Let's say you get
It's the
200
same here.
megabits,
Yeah.
same there.
Same here. Very bad upload speeds, because you don't need upload speed for watching Netflix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. But anyway,
Yeah.
first world problems. Yeah. Now, okay, I will try for sure the HDR fix this major pain in the cactus, or whatever the mod is called.
Major pain
I,
mechanics.
I will try this for sure, because I'm interested in getting because I still believe the game has potential. Maybe with some, of course, with some mods and whatsoever. But it's the same with Oblivion. You know, I installed maybe a year ago, whatever, Oblivion, and I put all the mods in. You know, the recommended mods, and it's like a brand new game, a
Yes.
complete different game.
Yeah.
And but that's also the problem. What I think, what is happening maybe here with Bethesda, because they're waiting for the community to fix things.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'm just making things up, but maybe that's how it is really. You know, they're just downloading the mod, analyzing it, and okay, let's put this in the next patch.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, I
But let
think,
me tell you,
really
it
what is
doesn't
happening.
work for Starfield. What I'm talking about, this major pain the cactus, doesn't work because
Oh,
of some security issues. So
yep.
the
Okay.
mod that I shared, the mod that I recommended, only works for the Steam I mean, it works for the Game Pass version, but you have to do something else that I'm not sure. You have to read the mod page. So that
Yeah.
mod is doing the same that Major Pain the Cactus, but it is bypassing the security issue that's making the Starfield not launch if you use the Major Pain the Cactus. But it does the same thing. So use that mod that I downloaded from Nexus Mod. I forgot the name. And then use the Lilium's inverse tone mapping method BT2446 tone mapping 20 BT2446 method A. It's just wow. It's just perfect. Perfect. So yeah, give that a try.
The Peanut has still a Panasonic plasma from 2012. Wow. Any
Yeah.
burn in? Come on, don't say no. Don't say no.
Well, my
I had enough
Panasonic
plasma TV.
plasma is from 2011. And it was $1,000. So the release price was $1,000. It is not, the one of the high end plasmas. And it gets very hot. It gets very hot, but it's also very bright. That plasma is brighter on SDR than my LG C1, significantly brighter, and brighter full screen. I'm talking about. It's just significantly bright, not even close. Even on HDR, it is brighter than my LG C1. So I do see image retention. It happens like immediately. The image retention is
Absolutely.
immediately. So but I know how to take care of it. So I don't have any burning or anything. I have the brightness maxed out, but it's just not a problem for me because I know how to babysit the plasma. But
Yeah, I did
yeah,
the
it is a
same.
great display. I absolutely love how plasma TVs look because viewing angles, absolutely flawless. Full screen colors, beautiful. Better than my WRGB OLED. So we have a full screen color on a plasma. It just looks more uniform. The colors look more natural. It just looks more correct to me, to my eyes. It doesn't matter which settings I use on the plasma. It just looks better. In terms of the colors, of course, it is not 4K. It doesn't have the input lag that I have on my LG C1. It doesn't have better motion clarity than my LG C1 when using OLED Motion Pro, okay? Because the plasmas at 60 FPS, 60 hertz, they have 4 milliseconds of persistence, okay? Plasmas. The problem is that they don't have a very fast response time, so the gray to gray is not very fast. But when you move slow, let's say you do a slow panning at 60 FPS, it can look as good as a 240 hertz monitor. Okay, at 240 FPS when you're moving the camera. Okay, that's very, very good. That's better than any 120 hertz TV without any, black frame insertion or backlight manipulation technique. The problem is when you move faster, it kind of breaks a little bit because the gray to gray is not very good. But it's still amazing. I really, really love the plasma technology. It looks very good to me.
Don't worry about anything else, guys. You made it into Digital Foundry video, Marcus. Yes, life goes complete. Yeah, not quite now, but almost. Yeah, I can take this on from the list. Yeah, this was actually really cool. Yeah, and I have no idea why he put me in. Actually, maybe because I made the first video about a very bad HDR SDR implementation.
Yeah, and you have also communicated with them on Twitter, no?
Yeah, with John
Lineman.
Yeah, with John. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed to be very
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
For being such a big channel. I mean, they are huge. They seem to be very nice and very reasonable people.
Yeah, I was really surprised because I couldn't believe it actually. But I mean that they made it actually really nice because they put my video, or the part of my video was just 4 seconds or whatever, exactly in when I popped up my subscribe button, which I highly appreciate, of course.
Did you see a bump on the subscribers after the video?
I saw it, of course. Yes, I saw
you
it.
did?
Yeah, but that the next time I hope they do it in the first 10 seconds of their video, because then the most people watching.
But he did it very close to the beginning. I
4 minutes in or whatever. Yeah. I mean, usually the people watching Digital Foundry videos anyway, I think for a long time,
Yeah,
because they're very interesting. Yeah,
that's good.
Very good. Yeah, my old Pioneer Kuro had the best motion resolution indeed. I'm still happy with my Sony A95K. Yeah, I had a Pioneer Kuro. Yeah,
I have one right now. I have a Pioneer Elite Pro 151 FD 60 inches. I love this TV. Okay, it's not bright. So the defects that this TV has is the brightness is very, very dim. And the input lag is bad, man. I have to say the input lag is not good. My Panasonic Viera has much better input lag for gaming. So, but that's it. The TV looks so good, man. So good. Near black looks very good. It's just very, very high quality. Like, for example, I opened the other day. I like to watch the UFC and all that. So I was just practicing my guitar. I opened the other day the MMA Hour, which is just a show with a host, 1080p, 30 frames per second. But he has colors on the background, like a red color, blue color. It was looking so good on this plasma. I was blown away how good that thing looked. And that's the thing. It wows me. This TV still wows me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like it a lot.
No, I was a huge fan. I bought my first Pioneer, whatever. I think it was the 468 XDE or whatever the name was. It was so expensive. And it was a exclusive TV. I mean, Pioneer was always a pioneer, a pioneer, And I remember this when I actually, so you couldn't buy this TV in a shop like Best Buy or whatever, because for the not geeks, they would never spend so much money, So I actually had an appointment with TV shop, a very small one, and they had one on display. And they made an appointment with me after hours to actually have enough time with me to go through all the settings and explain the TV and whatsoever, because it was almost, was it 5,000 German marks back then? It was ridiculous,
But how many dollars is that?
I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know what the exchange course is. So there's not German marks, of course, anymore. But it was back then. I think maybe for normal families, two months income, just for our TV. And I was so lucky that I earned a lot of money because I was the service technician, flew around in the world, you know what I mean? I earned a lot of money and I just spent the money and I bought this ridiculous TV, and it was a 43-inch TV, 43, yeah, because it, bloody hell, the 55 was even more expensive.
Oh, more
And it was
expensive.
not even full, not even the HD resolution. It was the
720p.
1024 by 720. So not even
Wow.
the not
16.
even the full.
Yeah, not even 16 by 9.
No,
It
it was
was
it was 16 by 9, but
oh,
not even this resolution. You know, so
oh.
the pixel structure was not 16 by 9, but of course it was 16 by 9. You get my point. And what I
Oh,
did, and
yeah, I
yeah,
understand that the vertigo, like it has a different resolution.
yeah.
Yeah.
But and the first couple of days, what I did was just burning in the TV, you know, with test pattern, you know, just to burn in, because you need to. That's what people told me. I was back then very, very big in a couple of forums, you know, where we talked about TVs and whatsoever. And oh, you need to do this and let this run for 2 days and whatever. You know, if you're changing colors on the TV all the time, you know, bloody hell, what did we waste electricity for? It was great. It was great. Picture quality was wow, unbelievable,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Somebody is saying my old Pioneer Kuro has the best motion. This one, I
Yeah.
have to say, this Pioneer Kuro has better motion clarity than the Plasma. It has the same 4 milliseconds of persistence, but the gray to gray is better. The responsiveness of the pixels is better, and it looks better in motion. It looks very good. The only complaint is the input lag and the brightness. That's it. You give me this TV. I mean, it's 1080p, of course. 1080p. I would like it to be 4K. So if this TV was 4K and it had 4 times the brightness, okay, and the input lag that the OLEDs have, I mean, I would never buy any other TV again. It's just insane. It would look so good. So yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah. So, buddy, thank you very much for the contribution. Sorry, but I had to step away. You're excused, no worries. Did you guys talk about Apple's iPhone 15 HDR gaming? I have no idea what this is. I mean, I know what it is, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I saw the
What did it do?
advertisement. Play AAA games on the new iPhone 15. So here's the thing: the HDR quality of the cell phones is just way ahead of anything we have on the TVs right now. Like I have a Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. It's not close. Okay, I compare my LG C1 with this screen, and it's just like on another planet. It's not even 2 times better. We're talking about not even close. My LG C1 looks monochrome in comparison, especially when you have full screen colors. It's just eye searing. Okay, so I absolutely love the picture quality. I would pay, I mean, to have a TV like 48-inch with this kind of quality, I would pay 3 times more than what they cost. Like, it's just, it would be worth, in my opinion, a 48-inch TV with a picture quality of this screen is worth $3,000-$4,000. No problem. I mean, you can charge that, not a problem. So yeah, the HDR is gonna be absolutely insane, of course. But playing AAA games on a cell phone, yeah, it might run. Okay, I mean, but it's
So,
it's
what do you
marketing,
mean
right?
about playing? You mean over cloud or whatever?
No. That the cell phone has the processing power to play AAA games like Starfield or Spider-Man, something like that.
Oh, okay.
It might
Why do
run.
I need a big PC like this to play this?
Yeah. It might run, but man, it's just not enough power. Okay, so think about this: you're gonna tell me that that iPhone 15 is gonna be more powerful than the Steam Deck? Just think about that. Look at the size difference. Okay, and the Steam
Yeah.
Deck is not like, it's kind of old tech at this point, and we know that smartphones, they are always coming with the best. I mean, if there is 1 nanometer, something like that, is first on the phones. Why? Because the phones are the biggest business, basically. So we basically get those improvements first on the cell phones, and then after that on the CPUs and the GPUs that we buy. That's clear. Okay, we understand that, but still, okay, a Steam Deck is a lot bigger. Okay,
Yeah.
and there's just I don't see that happening. Like AAA games on a phone, I don't see that happening. Oh, I hope I'm wrong. It might be amazing. I mean, I'm impressed with
Yeah.
this S23 Ultra with the cooling. Playing games, it doesn't get hot. I was expecting the phone to overheat immediately. It's very good. I'm impressed, but still, you cannot play AAA games here.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm not going into and buy a Apple iPhone 15 now. No. No. For sure, $2,000 here, whatever. No. No. And I don't want to play games on an iPhone or handy anyway. On a
Yeah, and
mobile.
I'm not an Apple fan. Okay, do you have an iPhone yourself?
No, I have the S21.
Okay.
Still the S21. I'm not planning to upgrade soon. It just works,
Yeah, of course. I'm never gonna buy another cell phone until this one dies, or
Yeah.
they try to kill it with the software. They try to
Yeah.
make it obsolete, not supporting the updates anymore. So you have to buy a new phone. Aside from that, I'm not planning to buy anything else. But I'm not an Apple fan, and we should never be like a fan or like or dislike a specific company, because we should be objective and just get the best that we can and all of that. But Apple is the exception. Okay, in my opinion, like I would never ever buy anything Apple. It's just I'm never gonna do it. So I was interested, for example, in this new, not VR headset. It's like augmented reality or something like that. This thing I'm talking about from Apple, because of the specs. Okay, but you cannot play PC games. You cannot just connect it to your PC and play games. So that doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, I was interested on it, but I would wait for another brand to do the same thing, and I will buy it from somebody else. Just not gonna buy Apple.
What about you getting a QD OLED?
So let me tell you something. When the S95B 55-inch dropped to $1,000, the only reason why I didn't buy that TV was because I didn't have a space. Because $1,000 for a 55-inch QD OLED, that's just a steal. Oh yeah, that's just like insane. So I thought, like I look at my bank account. Like let me tell you that I open my bank account. I'm like, man, $1,000 less. we can go $1,000 back, no problem. But I was almost getting it, but I didn't get that. So, but maybe I will get one for sure. So I'm a display enthusiast. I would like to have all the technologies, the best of the best from all the technologies. And QD OLED is definitely on my list. One thing I would like them to implement is 120, black film insertion, or any kind of, backlight manipulation to improve that. And the QD OLED has like a backlight or of some sort. So I think the technology itself should be amazing to do a strobing. There are some challenges. I was reading on the Blurrbusters forum some of the challenges from the chief, but it should be definitely possible. I don't know why they don't do it. I mean, a QD OLED is very bright. It should be able to have a fantastic motion clarity with that brightness. Not with that brightness, I mean, with less brightness, but you get what I'm saying. It's just a fantastic candidate to have that. It doesn't for some reason. But yeah, I will definitely get one in the future, definitely. And probably from Samsung.
Yeah, you should, yeah.
Most likely from Samsung, because I like the Samsung. You can go to a service menu and remove all the ASBL dimming, and also you can increase the brightness and get more performance if you want at your own risk. It is possible. So I like that from Samsung. That's not possible with Sony, for example. So yeah, I will. I don't know when, but
I have enough TVs for now. That's what my wife told me. So I don't know. And I promised my community that I will never sell my CX. So, and I like to keep my G2 as well and my S95C. So I'm stuck at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. If I get another TV, I would not throw away or sell what I have. It would just be another TV.
Yeah, it's just
so right now,
even with selling, it's hard to sell. You have to drop the price like crazy that people are interested in, and then I rather keep it, to be honest.
Yes, that's a problem.
I paid $4,800 for this TV. Why should I sell it for $1,000?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this. No way. I rather put it in another room where it just stands there.
Here in the US, I've seen LG GX for like $700. We're talking about 77-inch, something like that, $800. Like I've been like, man, that's like tremendous, tremendous deal. So they are not worth anything.
So Thielen or Sayalen is asking thoughts on using TVs like C2 with high-end gaming PCs. Any issues to watch out for? A setting change needed? No.
What I would recommend you is for any TV, really, not only for the LG OLEDs. For any TV, as soon as you connect that to a PC, download the CRU app and delete this resolution that these TVs have. That's 4096 by 2160. And the reason is when you use DLSS or NVIDIA image scaling, it messes up the scaling. So the resolution scaling is messed up. Like it's not the correct one. So it's not gonna look good. And also there are some games that are going to have a stretching because of this weird resolution. The game is trying to use that one, the higher resolution available, and it's just gonna look stretched and incorrect. And this resolution is completely useless because the aspect ratio is 17:9 instead of 16:9.
I don't get it why this is actually available.
Because that resolution is like true 4K. That's the true 4K resolution. So if you record, yeah, that's the true 4K resolution. So there are some movies that might have black bars and have this 4096, but then have less on the white side, or even be like full 4K. But gaming is just useless. Like and you're not deleting the resolution from the TV. That's still gonna be there. You are deleting it from the ADID, which is from the PC basically. And if you restart or you change the port, you still have it, or you can also restart those settings on the CRU app. So that would be my recommendation. Do that.
Yeah, Neocodex is asking for a tutorial video because he wasn't able. I never tried it, to be honest.
Plasma, it just didn't work. Maybe make a tutorial video. I did. I made a tutorial video. Why it didn't work? Right. So you have to use the CRU app, delete, and then hit restart 64. So the CRU app has an executable that it says restart 64. So when you hit that, then the change happens. That's all you have to do. Oh, and also remember, you have to delete it also from where it says HDMI supported or something like HDMI supported. Let me open it here, so I'll tell you right now exactly. So this is what you might be missing, basically. I'll tell you. So when you open the CRU app here, you have to go, you just click under extension blocks, you click there, and then you click on TV resolutions, and then you see those resolutions listed there, 4096 by 2160. You have to do this with all TVs on the PC if you don't want any weird scaling. Then you select each one of them, delete, okay. And then you also have to delete it from where it says HDMI support. So you open that HDMI support and you will see it there at the bottom, 4096 by 2160 at 30 hertz. Go ahead and delete that. And then after you do that, hit okay. And then run the executable that is called restart 64. That's it.
Okay, maybe that's something I need to do as well. Not sure.
Yeah, if you want to use NVIDIA image scaling, and some games have weird stretching, like Watch Dogs Legion, for example. You open it and it has like weird stretching. Yeah.
Okay. That's a good tip, actually. Not bad. But anyway, I'm still waiting for the HDR fix for Starfield. I mean, look, the thing is, they mentioned in the upcoming patch that they're putting a contrast brightness slider in and also HDR setting slider. So why are they not in the very beginning, from day one? What was the thinking process of developers not to do that?
It's just, again,
Is it just not done, not finished? So, yeah? It's just
this is very, very bad, man. I don't understand, because it's like the game, man, the game. So for me, and this is not like a console, fan or anything. I don't have any consoles. I couldn't care less. But I do, I am, for example, I would like to play. I'm excited to see, Fable, the new Fable game. Okay, I like the first one, the first Fable games. I played those games. I beat them. I lost hope. Okay, with the trailer that they released with Fable. It's like a CGI kind of trailer. We don't know if that's how the game is going to look. Like, I lost hope, because if this was the biggest Xbox game and they messed it up this bad, like, what are we going to expect from other games? I lost completely, like, all my excitement.
I mean, it's also the expectation what they're setting. I remember Redfall, how high the expectation was, and it was just a crap of a game. And I don't understand. I don't understand. Really, don't understand how they actually making this this advertising for a game where they already know it will flop. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't get it. There's still no 60 FPS patch on the Xbox. They're still working on the 60 FPS patch. Will never come.
Well, the reality is, why would they hype up, Starfield? Because of Game Pass. Starfield coming day one to Game Pass. Keep your Game Pass subscription. You're waiting for Starfield, waiting and waiting and waiting, and it comes out, it's crap. So that's why they are hyping it up, even if it's crap. I mean, to see them, to see Phil Spencer laughing at that question, like, why you didn't optimize the game for the PC. I mean, they should be serious, like, but laughing at it, it's like, man. That's just...
I mean, look, there are just a couple of companies or developers in the world, like Insomnia, Naughty Dog, and surprisingly, most of them are PlayStation developer. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just a different quality. Sorry to say that, but when it comes to, always when someone is asking me, hey, should I buy a PlayStation or Xbox? My question is always, do you have a PC? And then if the person says yes, do you play PC games on your PC? Is it a powerful PC? And if the person says yes, it is a powerful PC, then I say there's no reason to buy an Xbox. No reason at all. Buy a PlayStation 5. That's not because I like PlayStation better. Or that's just the reality, in my opinion. If you have a PC like you have or I have, why should you have an Xbox to play games in a lower resolution with less frames? It doesn't make sense, because there is no exclusive game on the Xbox. Full stop. Is there any game on the Xbox where you just can play on the Xbox? No. Huh?
Yeah, but I mean, I hate exclusivity, especially having a PC, and I don't like exclusivity. But I get what you're saying. The best games are on the PS5. I mean, that's not a secret. It's just the best games. Yeah. Ghost of Tsushima, which I want to play. I'm still waiting for it. So there's a lot of games that they develop that are the best, but I don't like it. I don't like them to be exclusive. And even if I had a PS5, I just don't. I don't like that. I don't like that exclusivity thing. You should be able to buy whatever you want and play it, and whatever you want to play.
Yeah, no, I get this. But I mean, look, we will see all the PlayStation 5 games coming to the PC at some point.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Even the time frame or whatever you call it, it's going to be shorter.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how it is. But they will still manage to have the PlayStation 5 exclusivity for some time, maybe 6 months or whatsoever. because otherwise they will lose the PlayStation sales. Probably not even then, because people buying PlayStation because it's PlayStation. And I would buy the PlayStation 6 anyway. I'm going to buy next consoles anyway. That's how it is.
You will, even if you have that high-end PC up for the channel. But if you
Absolutely.
didn't have the channel, would you buy it too?
Or if I would be just gaming, I mean, probably I would. Now with the opportunity what I have PC, maybe I would stick to PC. But it really depends if you like to have. Let's say they're releasing a new Jack and Dexter. I don't know if you heard about this game, Jack and Dexter, also Naughty Dog. Is it Naughty Dog? I think so. Yeah. I love this game. I think it was one of the first 3D open world games on the PlayStation 2 or 3. I can't remember. It's so long time ago. It was not PlayStation 1. But if this comes out, PlayStation 6, new Jack and Dexter, I would immediately buy this for the PlayStation 6. Full stop.
That's why they have exclusive, because
That's
they know that.
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
That's how it
I mean,
works.
yeah, it's just the way it is. We cannot.
But I agree
It's
in
just gonna
terms of best resolution whatsoever. I mean, come on, I have now a 4080, which costs 3 times the price of a PlayStation 5. Just the GPU, okay? There's no RAM, no drive, nothing, And you play, of course, Ratchet and Clank or other games with a higher resolution, more frames, but it's always a question about money. Is it worth for you?
Yeah, for
If
sure.
you're into this hobby, yeah, then it's worth for you, because other people, they're paying thousands of dollars for new rims on the car, which
Yeah.
I couldn't care less, So
No,
doesn't
the
matter if it's
CPU, the CPU you got, and the motherboard and everything else, that's a lot of money too.
No. And the same counts, of course, for Xbox as well. If they ever have but see, this will never happen with Xbox because of Game Pass. There will be never a exclusive, let's say Gears 6 or whatever, Gears 7 or whatever. You will always be able to play it on PC, always. On the same day, without any time difference, nothing. So that's why Xbox has a harder stand, the console. That's how it is. It's my opinion.
Yeah, I wanted to also comment. You saw that video where I realized what was the problem with. Now you mentioned Gears of War, and I thought about the HDR, Microsoft, and all that. So I'm going back to Windows 11 Auto HDR. I realized what's the problem. You've seen Auto HDR on Windows 11 looks kind of not washed out, but it looks too bright near black that you have to use your fine-tune dark areas to make it look right. You've seen that. The problem, I realized this testing this new HDR mod and also reading the one of the mods that I was downloading, this Pumbos shaders for Reshade. The problem with Windows 11 Auto HDR is that Windows assumes that all the games are sRGB, and they are not. They are not. They are Gamma 2.2. So the Auto HDR is assuming the game is sRGB, and because of that, the inverse tone mapping or whatever method they are using to convert from SDR to HDR or whatever they're doing is wrong. It looks wrong because it's assuming something that's wrong. That's it. And they have to change this. Like, doesn't make any sense. Like, if most games are Gamma 2.2, and why are they assuming that it is sRGB? They should be detecting what is the source gamma to do the HDR conversion so it looks right. So the problem is that it looks too bright near black. So if we use your fine-tune dark areas option, if you have an LG OLED, or just tweak the settings or whatever you can do, you might fix that problem. Somebody told me that there's a way to fix this issue with an ICC profile or something like that on the PC. I have to explore that to see if I figured out the solution. But I just discovered that's the problem. It's not like a black low race, because you still have perfect blacks. The problem is the gamma. The gamma is messed up because of that.
Yeah.
So
okay, I mean, I don't like, to be honest, I don't like the Auto HDR approach at all, because I did a comparison between Auto HDR and native HDR, and this is just Auto HDR is just SDR, just brighter, full stop. That's a very quick, quick,
Yeah, but it looks better. Yeah, if you have the.
I mean, yeah, it's better than SDR, of course, at some point. But yeah, I personally like HDR, of course. So in the Crew Motor Fest, there was actually the option sRGB and also sCRGB.
Yeah.
sCRGB is actually, and I wasn't aware of this because I never tried this, and I focused just on HDR10 in this test, and I just realized later that sCRGB is also an HDR format.
Yeah, it is an HDR format.
But
it is native HDR. It is native HDR, but that's how Auto HDR looks. Is sCRGB. So the Auto HDR from Windows 11 is sCRGB. So, but here's the thing. With this, for example, I was reading some of the, because these people, when you go to GitHub and you download something, we're talking about people who are programmers, people who have to read and understand all these standards and stuff, so they are able to do this. Somebody like Lilium, he said, okay, I started learning about this like less than a year ago, but he knows about programming and he studied to be able to do that. So when you start reading what they say, how the mod works, and you start reading the explanation, you learn. And that's what I've been doing when I download these mods. So when you, for example, when you're using some of these mods, it is not only like just an Auto HDR thing. There is some extra information that is not visible on SDR that you are getting with this HDR, because there is like there is information that gets clipped on SDR that you will be able to see it. So it would be interesting to do like a side-by-side comparison, and you're very good with that. So that's why I would like you to check this out, this Major Paint the Cactus mod, and maybe do like a side-by-side and compare that with maybe Auto HDR or with SDR, and see if you can find that extra detail on the highlights, because based on what I've read, it might happen. Okay, it's just again, it's not native HDR developed by the developers, but the thing is, how many great native HDRs do we have? Not a lot of them. Okay, yes, we can fix it. It is better to fix the native HDR from the developers if possible. Okay, but sometimes that's not even. I mean, it is possible now with these Lilium shaders, but you get the idea. It is just a great option, and it looks very good, a lot better than SDR for sure.
Yeah. So let me just quickly answer this one. Retro gaming, are those Philips Hue sync lights? No. I made a video about this. I got those backlights sent from, forgot the name, but it's not Philips, okay? But the biggest downside from these lights, and I put this in my video, you have HDMI 2.1 ports, but they're not VRR compatible. So VRR doesn't work. It's the biggest downside in my opinion, but they're working very well with all the consoles, with Nintendo, everything. It's really good. And they're bright, as you can see, they're really, really bright. Let me just go through the comment section if we have anything. This one here, yeah, Jack and Dexter. I really hope they're bringing out a movie about Jack and Dexter, correct? Am I right? They're making a movie? I was like, bloody hell, are you kidding me? I mean, Uncharted was already bad, the movie was really bad, and I just watched it because I like Tom Holland. But no, come on. Anyway, I'm looking forward for a new game, Jack and Dexter.
Is that the small guy with the white teacher and the lady that's thin and tall?
No, it's the
small
guy with the ferret on the shoulder, or whatever this is.
I'm not sure if I know what that is.
Just Google it later. I can't do anything here with StreamYard with the I can't even add a picture whatsoever here. But Jack and Dexter PlayStation 2, yeah, I played this game like crazy back then, and I can't even remember, was this actually in 60 FPS or was it in 30? I felt it was very, very fluent back then. I would almost bet that it was 60 FPS back then. Almost bet, really. Because it was so nice playable. Absolutely great. So what else do we have? Hello from France to the HDR team. Thank you very much, Kinja. Don't judge sRGB based off Windows 11 Auto HDR. Yeah, native SG looks way better. I'm very sure about this because there are, but it's a very unknown. It's not an unknown format, but usually you're not using this. Why you should use SC? I don't understand what the advantage would be over HDR10, and I think there is no advantage over HDR10.
No, it's just a different thing. If the game has the option, there are some games that have the option for both, like Far Cry 6 comes to my mind. Cyberpunk also has sRGB and HDR10. So if the game has both options, I would go with HDR10 PQ. But it's really like I cannot tell the difference, to be honest. Like on Cyberpunk, it just both look messed up. Like I cannot. Which, by the way, a lot of people have reached out to me because I've learned a lot since I did the Cyberpunk Reshade, settings and all that. I know better now. I try to fix Cyberpunk with the things that I learn now, and I end up with the same solution, like the same solution that I did before. It's just necessary because the problem that I see with Cyberpunk is that the mid-tones is lighter. You see the default is 2. It looks blown out. So the daytime desert, it looks blown out. It looks washed out. The whites look washed out. So I have to decrease this to 1. Okay, from 2 to 1, and then it looks too dark. So then I use Reshade to increase the visibility near black, and that's the best result I've been able to get. So I tried to do another Cyberpunk settings because the new the expansion is coming. But I couldn't do anything better than what I already did. I think that's the best option.
Cyberpunk has actually really incredible HDR in my opinion, apart from this black level rays. But what I found is actually very similar. I think I used also something around 1 or maybe 0.95 or something, or 1 point something, very close, because I found this has the best contrast. But I'm using dynamic tone mapping on in this game.
That makes sense.
Because then you raise the picture brightness a little bit because it's getting too dark, but you stay low with the darks, So it's still, I'm hoping for update 2.0 because this should be. When is it coming out? Next week? No, not next week. 26, huh? Was it 26? But I think the DLC will not change anything in terms of HDR. Maybe the update will, but I'm not sure about this as well. I don't think they're focusing on stuff like that.
No, I don't think they're gonna change anything on HDR, but the graphics, we're gonna have the DLSS 3.1, the 3.5 update. I'm not sure if it's gonna be ready at release, but there are some graphical changes coming. But HDR is an afterthought. Like they don't think that's important to to fix. It's like who is gonna play Cyberpunk ray tracing with a 4090 on SDR on a crappy LCD screen? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, I really think that many people have crappy LCD screens at home.
With a 4090.
I really think this. They're going for they're getting a 4090 and then they're getting a $200 display from whatever Kmart or whatever. I'm very sure about this. I don't know. Otherwise, look what my experience is since so this is where I'm sitting right now is the first PC when I started my channel. That's now my 4080 with the new CPU, and I'm using now the LCD VA panel here, 1440p. Monitor, it's crap. Full stop. This is so much better, but it's for streaming. It's perfect. You know what I mean? And when I'm playing games here, and I tried it out, I locked the game Starfield to 30 FPS, the PC version. It looks okay on this bloody screen. It does look okay. You try this on the bloody OLED TV, you're getting, I don't know, I have to throw up, really, because of the stuttering. Here, 30 FPS, everything is blurry, of course, because you can't see shit anymore, but it doesn't stutter on the LCD screen. It doesn't stutter. And now I understand, because when I'm talking about, in some games you have micro stuttering, and if you have a perfect 60 FPS experience and you play on an OLED screen and you focus and you have just one micro stuttering, you can see this on the OLED screen.
Oh, for
There's
sure.
no way you can see this on the bloody LCD. No way, because
Yeah.
it's too blurry. It's too. No way. That's
Yeah,
why
the
many
OLED.
people,
Yeah.
you know, when I made my video about Horizon Forbidden West back then, and I said, what is this for bad picture quality? So many people said I'm wrong and blah 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 and whatsoever. But I can understand this now, because if you play on a crappy LCD screen, and this was even $400 or whatsoever, not that crappy, but you can't see the flaws. No way. You need to play it on a proper TV. That's it.
Yes. Yeah, the OLED reveals all the defects. When there is a game that, for example, has like a sharpness issue that bothers me a lot on the OLED, I play it on the plasma and it doesn't bother me. Like Uncharted, it just looks so blurry to me. It bothers me to no end. I play it on my plasma, I don't care, no problem. I cannot see that issue. It just looks normal. So yeah,
So
it reveals the issue.
let's quickly answer this question. But I'm already forcing HDR always on in Windows 10. What does Windows 11 Auto HDR even do differently? So if you have HDR always on, correct, that's fine. But if you have, there's now Auto HDR on Windows 10. That means you play always in a HDR picture format, but with the SDR information. So if you're not using dynamic tone mapping on, you not even have a higher picture brightness in specular highlights. That's so Auto HDR gives you 1000 nits if you have a screen which can display 1000 nits. That's how it works. Windows 10, there's no Auto HDR. So you don't have 1000 nits. That's the difference. I would strongly recommend to upgrade to Windows 11 anyway. It's so much better than the first time I tested it. There's no issues with Windows 11 anymore. Nah.
Yeah, me too. For HDR, definitely get Windows 11. Yeah, what you're saying with dynamic tone mapping is very good to, for example, if you have an average brightness on the game, and we see it now with this HDR analysis too. Let's say bright sunny day and you have average brightness 50 nits. You use dynamic tone mapping, you fix that, because dynamic tone mapping is gonna make that look correct. It's gonna make that look bright. And I've tested this with this new Major Paint the Cactus mod. There's a different tone mapping method. That's BT2446 method C. It looks very nice in terms of the highlights. It pops ferociously, but the average brightness is too low. So if you use dynamic tone mapping, it looks okay. It looks very, very nice. It's another option. So yeah, if you have a game like you're saying, Cyberpunk, you have to reduce too much the midpoint. Use dynamic tone mapping, you fix that issue that it looks too dark with HGIG.
Yeah. So, and he confirmed, Christoph, Czech games were 60 FPS. I knew it. On the PlayStation 2 already, 60 FPS games. And now we're going back to 30 FPS because of people think whatever. I don't get it really.
Actually, I heard that I heard the PlayStation 2 has more 60 FPS games than the PlayStation 3 and 4.
Because everybody was looking at graphic high at the end. But you know, this is what people don't understand. And this is what I have so many discussions on Twitter that people really thinking 4K resolution is in general a better graphic or a better experience than a 1440p resolution. I really think Framerate is much more important.
Absolutely.
I don't get this. You know, really. For we talked about this photo mode. Give me 8K, 20 FPS. I don't care because I'm just taking a picture, but not when I'm playing a game. Nah.
Yeah, especially motion clarity is very important because when you're playing a game, you're moving the camera all the time. Yeah. So yes, even 60 FPS is not enough. Okay, so the conversation that I would like to have is why not 120 FPS on the consoles? The consoles can output 4K 120, no problem. Well, give me that. Okay, I don't care what you have to do. Just change the decision, your artistic vision or whatever. Do whatever it takes. Give me 4K 120. And on the PC, crush FPS. Talking about 240, 480 FPS. Because It's just a better experience. Okay,
Yeah.
60 FPS is not enough. When you move the camera,
Yeah,
it's bad. It's not enough.
I know. But see here, Devan said he knows someone using a 4090 and use a crappy 1080p LCD. I'm very sure there are a lot of people, because the problem is, you buy, for an example, you buy one monitor and the monitor stays for years. You're not upgrading the monitor, you know? And you start, of course, with a 1080p at some point years ago, and then you're getting at some point a 6090 and you still have the 1080p monitor. Bloody hell, please don't do this. Nah, it's crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy. The picture quality is so much improved when you use a proper screen, you know?
there's a QD OLED monitor coming. It's 4K, 240 hertz, glossy screen, HDR 400, True Blacks HDR 400, and on a 10% window, it's gonna be 400 nits, which is like, that's not bright enough. But on a very small window, is like 1,000 nits. The reason is, it seems like because of the screen size, they don't want to push the brightness. But I don't understand. Full screen is still going to be 250 nits, the same as on the S95C. So full screen is the same as the S95C, but in terms of the HDR impact, even when it has the same, QD OLED, second generation QD OLED panel, it's not gonna be even close to the brightness of the S95C. On a 10% window, 400 nits, the S95C can do how much, like 1,300 nits or more. So yeah, it's a shame, but it's gonna be 4K, 240 hertz. And in my opinion, 240 hertz, I know how that looks exactly, because OLED Motion Pro Medium at 120 FPS on my LG C1 looks exactly the same as 240 hertz OLED. Okay, exactly the same. In my opinion, that is as good as everyone is gonna notice the difference. Like, I mean, there's no gamer that can play on a 240 hertz OLED that is not gonna see that as an improvement. Now, beyond that, there might be some people who say, I don't see the difference. But 240, that's very, very good. So yeah, it's gonna be a great monitor. It's from Asus.
Asus.
Yeah, Asus. It has a big.
Digital is asking any PC monitors with the ML8 technology. I thought there was also this Asus monitor, which has the ML8 technology. I'm not sure if it's already released or not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's out. Yeah, it does have the ML8, but it's not as bright. It's not as bright as the G3, not even close. And it seems like the problem is when you crank all those pixels on a smaller screen size, it's a challenge to get that brightness. So yeah, and it's not 4K either. It's 1440p. So we should be getting soon a lot of 240 hertz 4K monitors, because I mean, in my opinion, monitors are just too expensive. Why would you pay like $1,000 for a smaller screen size and a lower resolution with less settings and get a TV? It's just
not OLED for a monitor. I would then maybe maybe then LCD, proper high-end LCD screen if you like to have a monitor, but not QD OLED probably. Anyway, that's how it is. Do we even want higher peak brightness, or do we need higher average brightness of the panel? What do we need?
So what people want, I know for sure what people want, what people understand, most people, I'm not talking about enthusiasts, like we know what that is, but what most people understand as a brighter display is full screen brightness. So if you give someone a display that has a higher full screen brightness, it's going to look brighter to them for sure. So let's say you have a display that's 600 nits only, okay? But no ABL. You have 600 nits full screen, 600 nits on the highlights all the time, no ABL. That's a better, I mean, I would prefer that to have that for sure. Because let's say you open a game and you have a full screen white, it's gonna be like, wow, it's like uncomfortable. See, it's gonna look brighter. I much rather have that. So I am more interested in that full screen brightness. But yeah, we also need more big brightness for sure.
Yeah, let's see what we're getting next year, because apparently LG is not don't want to improve their TVs anymore.
Not interested in it.
More advertising stuff. Let's do this.
but
Whatever they're
we
doing
get
now.
Yeah, but we get the inevitable improvements, like this new phosphorus OLED, the phosphorus blue, because right now we have fluorescent. But so once we get this phosphorus blue, I'm thinking on QD OLED. The backlight of the it's not a backlight. I'm keep calling it that. But the back of the QD OLED is blue. Is blue OLEDs, and then you have the quantum dot layer to produce the colors. So now imagine those blue OLEDs are fluorescent. So with fluorescent, you are only utilizing like 25% of the current. So 25% of the energy is converted into light. Now with phosphorescent, I'm sorry, we have fluorescent right now. With phosphorescent OLED, we'll get 100% of the current. It's gonna be light. So it's, of course, what they are going to do is reduce the power and just give you a little bit more brightness, which is unfortunate.
I mean, I get it. But I mean, that's good. We're getting this stuff, but I don't think that we will see jumps like crazy. And even it is possible they would not do it like that.
Exactly.
Because they like to release every year for the next coming 100 years a new TV. So you will see always these little steps, like iPhone 15 now, a little bit better.
That's a little bit better.
That's how it is, yeah.
Absolutely.
Let me answer this. I have a lot of static content on my monitor because of the types of things I do for works. Is it still reasonable to avoid OLED monitor because of burn-in? I mean, look, if you're using your screen for work related, we're talking about 7, 8, 9, 10 hours, the same stuff, I would not use an OLED screen. To be very honest, no, it's too no, it's not worse. You just no, because if you have static elements 8, 9, 10 hours, and then this 5 days a week, you will have burn-in. Full stop. That's how it is.
Unless his work it has something to do with Photoshop or something that has to do with the picture quality, maybe.
That's of course then something to consider, because OLED screen will give you a better picture quality than LCD. Full stop. That's how it is. Yeah, but if it depends, if you have to work on Excel files all the time and you have to open Excel files all the day, 8 hours a day, you will see the Excel files at some point in 1 year time on your screen.
Well, one thing you can do if you want to babysit your OLED, you still want it, you can change the scaling on Windows. So you basically go, just right click, display settings, and you can change once in a while. I'm talking about just use it for 1 week,
scaling,
one way, and then change the scaling from 200% to 125 to 175. So in that way, all those windows that you always have open, they're changing the place where they are on the screen, maybe. And that might be a way to mitigate a little bit burning. But me personally,
from your experience,
so what I do is I use a high contrast theme on Windows. For me, and OLED is definitely for work. It is amazing, okay? Because the best thing is perfect blacks. The perfect blacks means no light being thrown to your eyes, okay? So we're talking about something that's much better for your eyes, okay? So let's say you have to, work long hours. If you have a high contrast theme on your PC, so most of the screen is black, no lights, and then the text, make it yellow, okay? Yellow or red. Maybe red, it looks bad to you. If you make it yellow, it's gonna look good. That's what I do. So yellow has no blue. So when you're setting up a high contrast theme, you have the option to select RGB. So on blue, 0. So select yellow, green colors, and colors that don't have blue. Okay, red. And man, let me tell you, the change for your eyes, you could work on that PC 24/7, no problem for your eyes. It's just amazing. Okay.
Need to try this.
It's just incredible. I mean, I wouldn't. And then also the other thing that I do is hide the taskbar. Okay, so hide the taskbar on Windows.
Absolutely.
And if you still see like a very thin bezel at the bottom of the screen, there is an app that you download for free on the Microsoft Store that is called TB Rounded, something like that. and that's going to hide that last bezel that's at the bottom of the screen, even when you hide the taskbar. And that would be my recommendation. I mean, you try that, and I can tell you for sure it's for work and OLED. But yeah, if you always have the same programs open all the time and change the scale.
I mean, you need to be aware that something can happen, yeah. And it will happen more likely with an OLED than LCD. That's how it is, yeah. There's a question for you.
Ariel, what refresh rate do you think will be necessary on an OLED in combination with BF5 or not to beat the motion clarity of a CRT at 75, 85 Hertz? So to beat the motion clarity of a CRT, you need sub 1 millisecond of persistence. So 1 millisecond of persistence is equal to 1 pixel of motion blur when moving at 1,000 pixels per second. So what does that mean? What that means is that let's understand the speed in pixels per second. Okay, so if you have a 4K screen, you have like about 4,000 pixels from left to right. Okay, so if you are moving at 1,000 pixels per second, it's going to take about 4 seconds for an object to go from left to right on your screen. Okay, so for an object that is moving left to right on the screen and taking 4 seconds to have that object looking perfectly clear, you need 1,000 hertz. 1,000 hertz to get 1 millisecond of persistence. So why 1,000 hertz is 1 millisecond of persistence? I'm talking about sample and hold. It's because you have 1,000 FPS in 1 second. So you divide that, 1 divided by 1,000, that's 1 millisecond. So 1,000 FPS in 1 second. That's how you get 1 millisecond of persistence. So now, when you use BFI, I mean, everyone calls this BFI, me too, black frame insertion, but you are not gonna get like black frame insertion. It is better to use like PWM, pulse width modulation, or if you have an LCD, just any kind of backlight manipulation technique. But in this case, it's asking about an OLED. So what do we need? Very simple. We need a lot of brightness. Okay, to get that motion clarity, we need brightness because it is all a matter of brightness. For example, the LG G3. The LG G3 can do, on a 10% window, 1,300 nits. Okay? On a 10% window, 1,300 nits. So now, if the TV has pulse width modulation, what that means is that it's going to draw the picture left to right, top to bottom. Okay? And once it has 10% of the screen, 10% of the picture draw, it's going to scroll that down and the rest is black. Scroll that down and the rest is black. So if that display can do 1,300 nits on a 10% window and scroll that down, which might not be the case, okay, there might be other limitations that I'm not aware of. But let's say that the G3 can do 10% window, 1,300 nits, and it can scroll that down, okay, to do PWM. Then you can get 130 nits of brightness with that 10% strobing, basically. So 130 nits is bright enough for SDR content. So what can you achieve with that? Well, you are reducing the persistence to 10%. So when you reduce the persistence to 10%, you are improving the motion clarity in 8x. Okay, let me see if I did the math right. So 8%, 10% of 8.3 milliseconds is 0.8 milliseconds. So that's below 1 millisecond of persistence. So I did the math right. So basically, at 120 FPS, the LG G3 with PWM could potentially have sub 1 millisecond of persistence and be 130 nits. So what I'm saying right now is that the G3 could already at 120 FPS look better than a CRT, okay? Because we're talking about no trailing artifacts, no crosstalk. It will be just flawless, okay? And the only thing that I am ignoring that might not be possible is for the TV to be able to have 1300 nits on that 10% window if it's scrolling that fast. Okay, that's the only thing I am ignoring. So it might not be bright enough for that. Okay, if it cannot be 10% window, 1300 nits, maybe a little bit of a bigger window, less brightness, but it should be possible already, is my point. And if you are concerned about flickering it's not linear. The flickering perception is not linear. So at 120 FPS, even with such a small window, the flickering might not be perceivable for most people. Okay, so it could be possible right now at 120 hertz. So now if you have 240, then the problem is half as difficult, because now instead of 10%, we just need 20%, and you don't need that much brightness. Well, 20% more brightness, it will be more challenging than 10%, of course. So then you would still have 10%, you would have higher motion clarity still. So it is possible, basically. CRTs are just 1 millisecond of persistence, some of them a little bit less, but yeah, it should be possible already.
Okay, thank you very much for this. Thank you very much, Christoph. So should we wrap this up? Almost 2 hours. People starting to sleep here. No, actually not. That's good, but I would like to wrap it up if you don't mind. Maybe I'm looking forward for Spider-Man 2, of course, regardless of ray tracing on and off. I don't care, because again, I think we said this in the very beginning in the show. If someone can pull it off, then Insomniac, because they're just doing incredible work. Full stop. That's how it is. I have no doubt about performance issues in this game. Not at all. Not at all.
And the thing is, they are doing incredible work, and it's one after the other. I mean, how many games they releasing one after the other? They are all amazing. I don't understand that. Like, there's no developer that can come even close to the output of
They
Insomniac.
should all use the same engine, Forget about Unreal Engine. They should use what was called the engine from Insomniac?
Insomniac. It's just Insomniac proprietary engine. I don't think it has a name. It's just
it's just their own engine, Just sell it, please, to everybody, please, because then we have no issues like Final Fantasy or Jedi. You know what I mean? It's just Anyway, and then of course, in terms of HDR in Starfield, I'm hoping for some sort of a fix, some sort of native HDR on the PC version, of course, and of course maybe the creators intent toggle switch.
Yeah, the toggle, that's the most important, because here's what's gonna happen. They support that HDR black level rays. If you fix the black level rays, then the green filter pops,
it's still there,
and it looks even more green, because the colors become more saturated when you lower the black level. So it's gonna be looking even very bad too.
Okay. But anyway, I think this was a great stream. I think so. What do you think? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I enjoy doing this and reading the comments. So
yeah, me too. And I have to say, great comments here. Of course, the community is just amazing. That's what it is, and we're going to continue doing this for sure.
Awesome.
Every fortnight is like a plan, That's very good, actually. And the bloody birds outside sharp. They're happy.
Awesome. Well, nice. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
No worries at all. No worries.
Thank you for your support. I have to say, before we finish, thank you for your support from the beginning. I already reached 5,000 subscribers, which I'm like,
congratulations. Yeah.
I'm very happy with that. And I remember you supported the channel when I had like 800 subscribers. You did that video with HLG. You gave me the shout out. So for me, that was very, very important. And
it's not the same when Digital Foundry is shouting out someone. But
well, that was my Digital Foundry moment, because I mean, 800 subscribers. You had like at that point you had like a lot. I mean, I don't remember, but you had a lot of subscribers. So I appreciate it.
It's very hard. I mean, you know it on your own. It's very hard to get subscribers nowadays, because there are so many different channels, and what we are doing is actually still is the right word, a niche, a very small thing. What we're doing, not many people are interested in this. More people are just looking at pure graphics, but not into HDR. So but it will grow. We just need patience. And I'm very sure in a couple of years, maybe 5 or 10 years, we have our 1 million subscribers as well.
And we can retire and just do YouTube.
We just do YouTube and just, I with my walking, I'm here, 85, but this HDR. Yeah, that's the plan. Come on, that's the plan. Okay, now, guys, thank you very much for everything. Great chat, great community, and we see us in 14 days.
Thank you for having me. Have a good one.
No worries. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.